Hi, hope you're well. It's been a while since we've chatted, and as you can see, I've done a lot of knitting. I think it's, I don't know what that was. I think it's been about 6 weeks since we chatted, and I've just loved knitting everything. I've been so inspired in the last 6 weeks. My name is Pirja. I'm originally from Finland. I've lived in the UK for nearly 30 years now, and most of it in Lincoln, where I live now. Lincoln is a lovely, lovely city, and I have a small independent shop in Lincoln. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about my knitting, and I've just loved every stitch so much. I've just piled everything on top of on my lap, what I've knitted in the last 6 weeks. A couple of things I had started last time we chatted, but most of these things I hadn't even thought about when we last chatted, and it's been fabulous. I got to the last few scraps of yarn I had, and then I went completely mad. I don't know if you can see my yarn cupboard behind me, but it's absolutely packed full now. I had a right good shop at Wool Warehouse. They've got drops sale on again, and I got topped up. I think I've got enough yarn to last me till the end of the year. Maybe. Depends how my knitting goes. But yeah, I've loved knitting so much. But let me, if I just flip this pile over and pop it over there, and I'll talk about them in, it doesn't really matter what order I talk about them in, but it's just a shame that it's been 6 weeks since I chatted to you last time, because I'm a little bit worried that I've forgotten a lot of the detail in these projects, and I keep saying to myself, I want to have a chat more frequently so that I can go more into depth about each project, because I learned so much from each pattern, new ways of constructing a jumper or cardigan or neckline or button band, but if I don't chat about it often enough, I forget the detail, and then I'm unable to share it. So I would definitely love to share more detail rather than just quickly whiz past every project. But I'll start with my Quill Tee. This is sort of my summer knitting. Last year I knitted quite a bit with cotton, but I didn't end up wearing many of my cotton knits. I found that although the cottons that I used were machine washable, which I love because I'm lazy, and what I love about machine washing is that you can spin things nearly dry, and they dry so quickly, especially in the summer if you can spin your knits. But if you just have to sort of towel dry them, they take a while to dry. But yeah, I knitted quite a lot with cotton, 4-ply cotton, which I got used to. Cottons or plant fibres are my go-to. I love wool. But I got used to it last year, and I enjoyed knitting. I think I was knitting a lot with drop saffron, so the 4-ply cotton anyway. But I do find that it stretches out of shape quite quickly. I think that is common with cotton. Just when you're wearing it, just your body heat sort of stretches it, and in general the stitches are quite uneven. I'm not the neatest knitter, but I find that with wool you can get away with anything. With blocking and washing, it'll just find its own shape, and it just wants to look its best. But with cotton, yeah, it stretches out of shape. The stitches are very unforgiving. Even after washing, they don't look uniform. So I don't think I bought any plant fibres this year. I have thought about it. I've thought about linen a lot because I've heard lots of good things about linen. I think I've knitted with Drops linen mix, Drops Bell in the past, but it was a bit rough and a bit rustic and a bit papery. But that's a while back now, so I might get a different. If I tried it again, I might be happier with it. But anyway, this is my summer knit this year. This is the Quill Tee, and this is knitted in 100%. No, that's a lie. I think this is 75 merino, 25% nylon. Symphony yarns, 4-ply. Symphony is owned by Knit Pro, so it's the quite a newish range of very affordable hand dyed in India yarns. And this is a lovely brown colourway, and then I had some 4-ply speckled white merino left from another jumper, and I just used the leftovers for the Colourwork. I went away with a couple of my friends. I went with a friend from Lincoln to Ireland to meet a friend who lives in Ireland, so 3 of us had a lovely long weekend, and I wanted to take something to knit with me while we were away, and I thought this was perfect because it's 4-ply. It doesn't take much room at all, but the yarn and the projects would keep me going all weekend, and it did, because I had to rip it back so many times, just for silly reasons. If I remember right, this is knitted on mostly knitted on 4mm needles, but it's set to use 5mm needles for the Colourwork, or 4.5 at least. So when I was packing, I just threw that it told you to use a ribbing needle for the main body of the jumper, and then another size for the Colourwork. So I threw the 3 sizes in my bag. I put my least precious needles in my bag because we were flying with hand luggage only. I've never had a problem with knitting needles, but sometimes people have. I didn't have any problems this time either, but anyway, I took my least precious knitting needles, and I did think 5mm 4-ply, how's that gonna work? So I knitted maybe half of the Colourwork, and it was so open and gapey. I had to pull it back because it just looked terrible. So I just used the main needle, which I believe was 4mm for all of it, and then just maybe 1/2 mil smaller needle for the ribbing. And I have worn this so much. Only in the last, we've only had some hot weather in Lincoln for the last 2 weeks maybe, so I haven't worn this so much in the last 2 weeks, but up till then I was wearing this nearly every day, and now again it's gone. Today is the first rainy day for a long time, and temperatures dropped, so it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, I've worn this a lot. I remember casting the sleeves off with tubular cast off, and they were so tight. I don't know what I did wrong there, but I had to cut that off and recast them off, and then just use normal cast off. And I think I knitted this exactly to the pattern, and it has had a lot of wear. I enjoy wearing it with this. I don't know if you can see my skirt. I've got a long denim skirt on, so I've been wearing it with this a lot. It's nice little outfit, I think. Yeah, this has had a lot of wear. I think last time we chatted, I was knitting Corran cardigans by Rebecca Clow by the Cray Bear. I've knitted 4 Corran cardigans now. I love that pattern, and I think this is the last one I've knitted. This is the round neck, long sleeves, long sleeve version. But oh my goodness, I hated knitting with this yarn so much. I could not believe it. I hated every minute of it. I don't know how I managed to get it finished, to be honest. I think it was because I was running low on yarn and I just wanted to use up everything I had. This is Drops Fable, which is a 4-ply, 2 strands held together. But there was just something about this yarn that is very dry. It's very crunchy. I didn't enjoy it at all, and I don't enjoy wearing it. It is still crunchy. But the pattern is so lovely. I've got some Drops Daisy now, which I've never tried before, in a very similar colour, and I'm thinking I might try that to see how that knits up. But there was just something about this yarn that I didn't enjoy knitting with. The reason I did the Corran cardigan with it was that the I think this is light beige maybe. I have got it on my Ravelry, which I'll link below, which colourway it was. But this colourway is completely flat. And I love all Drops yarns that have when they're mixed, when there's like different shades of one colour in the yarn, but this was completely flat, and that's why I thought the best thing for me to do is to knit lace with it, because it will give it some interest. But yeah, I hated knitting with it so much. I couldn't quite believe it. But now holding it, I might still wear it. Doesn't feel quite as crunchy. I don't know whether I should wash it in and put like loads and loads of fabric conditioner in it. But I don't think you're supposed to put fabric conditioner in wool. I normally use wool wash, leave-in wool wash that you don't need to rinse away. But I can't actually remember what I washed this one with. But yeah, it's very crunchy. But I think when it's on, I think it actually looks quite nice. And it's not itchy, it's just crunchy. But I might wear this tomorrow if it's a cool day like today, and just see how I get on with it. Just wear a vest underneath. And I've got some shell, I think these are shell buttons, just from Amazon. I ordered a big box full of, it's got 3 different sizes. It's got like a shirt size, this medium size, and then a large size, and I've got a big box full. So I think all my future cardigans for the next year or so will have these buttons on, because I've got so many of them. But I love these buttons. They seem to take on any colour that they are, and I think they look really, really nice. They don't feel particularly strong, but we'll see how they behave in the wash and wear. But yeah, I really enjoy knitting this cardigan. I've got the pattern is so easy. It makes me laugh that I just couldn't knit this last year. I just couldn't get the pattern in my head. It's basically a 3-stitch repeat. But I think my brain just wanted it to be 4 and to be an even number, not an odd number. And I kept going wrong and wrong and wrong. I think because I just added the 4th stitch to it. But now I have got it in my head that it is a 3-stitch pattern. It's a very easy to follow pattern. Cray Beige pattern. I would highly recommend it. It comes with I've knitted the V-neck. I've got another green one with a V-neck and short sleeves, and I've knitted my daughter a pink one, V-neck with short sleeves, I'm sure. Oh no, is it round neck? I think it might be a round neck. And then this one, so I've knitted 4 altogether. and it is really wearable. I think this will be maybe a little bit too woolly to wear before the autumn. If it's a cold day like today, it's about 15 degrees today, might be okay. But Drops Fable is woolly wool. It's a sock yarn, 75/25 I think. It's not merino like the one I'm wearing now. It's not soft and shiny. It is very crunchy woolly wool. So I'll think twice before I knit with Drops Fable again. But I have knitted another cardigan with Drops Fable. I'll show that one to you next. Again, Drops Fable held double. This is the Winter's Beige Cardi by Andrea Mowry, my second one. I've knitted two of these now. I knitted a grey one first, and this is my second one. And this is Drops Fable, same yarn as the cardigan I've just been talking about. Held double, and I absolutely loved every stitch so much. I enjoyed knitting with this yarn so much. It's the same yarn, but this is a mix, Drops Fable mix. So it's not a flat colour. Don't know if you can see, but there's a variation in the colour. And it just felt like a really sturdy yarn, absolutely right yarn for the pattern. This is my second. I'm showing the back to you because it sort of shows the cables better. On the first cardigan I knitted, it's knitted bottom up. These large cables, I had done mirror image of them, so they were upside down if you like. I had done them all wrong. And on the instructions it tells you to do a 3 needle bind off on the shoulder to join them together at the end. But it tells you to do it on the right hand side, and I didn't like that. So on this one I did the 3 needle bind off on the inside, and absolutely love that seam so much. It's very, very neat. But what I don't love is this puffy sleeves. I've often had this problem with Andrea Mowry's patterns in the past, but with the grey one I think I just managed to block it out, maybe, or maybe on this one I've done the sleeve opening too short and picked up too many stitches, but it puffs out, which is a you can only really see when you're holding it like that. When you're wearing it, you can't really see it. But I just wish that sleeve opening was a little bit bigger, so I might have to knit a third one to get it just right. I have got the yarn for it already in mind. And again, I was knitting with Drops Fable because this was in the previous Wool Warehouse sale, and I have bought X number of balls, and I just wanted to knit until I ran out of yarn, which I did. These sleeves are supposed to be, the ribbing is supposed to be double this length, but I just knitted both sleeves at the same time until I ran out of yarn. So these sleeves are sort of that much too short, but I don't, because you're supposed to fold them like this, but I don't think they feel too short. I think they're just right. Yeah, so they don't feel too short. Yeah, I loved knitting with this, but I don't enjoy wearing this. Again, the Drops Fable yarn, I don't know what it is, but it's not my favourite yarn. It is sock yarn, so maybe I should leave it as sock yarn and not try to hold it together and make something else with it than it's intended to. But I loved knitting with this, enjoyed it so much. It was just such a sturdy yarn, but wearing it, it feels like really old-fashioned Irish Aran jumpers. It's a bit, it's not prickly, but it is very sturdy. But I think it looks lovely, and the cables and the double moss stitch shows really well. It is supposed to have pockets. I didn't knit the pockets. I didn't knit them on my first one either, because when I looked at the pattern, they all looked like they were flopping out, and it made it look quite frumpy. So I left the pockets out. But I think this is a lovely cardigan. After I knitted the first one, the grey one, I did say to myself that if I knit this again, I will put short rows in the ribbing at the bottom here. But I didn't. And I wish I had done, because it feels like it's a little bit, it could do with being 6 rows longer at the back here, so that it would have nice shape at the back. But if I knit the third one, I will put short rows in the ribbing, which will be easy to do, because I've already knitted 2 of these. When you first start the ribbing, it feels really complicated. Both times I've had to write down every stitch for my size to be able to do it. Don't know if you can see, but it's designed so that the double moss stitch, the honeycomb pattern and the cable patterns run from the ribbing or run into the ribbing, and there's a lot of counting on the first setup row for the ribbing, but after that you just follow the stitch pattern, so it'll be easy to put short rows in there. So next time I knit this one, I'll put short rows in the ribbing at the bottom there. I think it would be too tricky to put them at the back here in double moss stitch. I don't quite know how I would do that without them showing, but I think in the ribbing they will be quite nice. So there's 2 cardigans I've knitted with Drops Fable and hate is too strong a word, but not my favourite yarn. I'll try to remember to not buy it again. Maybe for socks, because I have knitted some socks with Drops Fable before and they are fantastic. Even if they accidentally go in the tumble dryer washing machine, just normal wash with everything else, they come out absolutely fine. So definitely use it for socks. Then I finally used up the, well, I've got a bottle left. I've finally knitted with the gorgeous, the most luxurious yarn I've ever knitted with. I was desperately trying to get this finished before I went to Ireland, because I wanted to take it with me to Ireland, to the Green Isle, and it is just a gorgeous green cardigan. My friend came to stay with me the night before we went, because our flights were 6 o'clock in the morning, so we needed to be at the airport at 4 o'clock, needed to leave the house at 3 o'clock, so she came and stayed at mine. And that evening I only had because I needed the sleeves from cuff up and then sewed them on. I don't normally do that, but it had been really hot, really hot. So rather than pick up the stitches, hold the whole cardigan and knit the sleeve, I decided to knit the sleeves on their own and then sew it together. So I only had a third of one sleeve left. Came home from work, got ready, everything was ready for my holiday. I was waiting for my friend to come. I put the cardigan on the sofa to admire it, took a picture, sent it to my friend in Ireland saying pretty much said I'll be wearing this tomorrow, and realised that I had done the second sleeve cuff in 1x1 ribbing. oh, I was mortified. It's supposed to be 2x2 ribbing. I had done the first sleeve, all correct. Second sleeve, I had done 1x1 ribbing, and I had knitted maybe up to there, at least 2/3 of the sleeve. So I only had something like 25 rows, if that, left in it that evening. And I couldn't even look at it. It went in the naughty corner while I was in Ireland. Oh my God, this is just the loveliest yarn. It just makes me smile. I bought this from Camel's Yarn stall at East Anglia Yarn Festival in February. It's baby Surrey fluff and merino singles, and it is so soft. Oh my word, it is just an absolute joy to knit with. But I have bought this to knit the Amara cabled sweater that the lady who was selling this yarn was wearing, and also the lady who had the stall next to her, she was wearing the same sweater, and I instantly fell in love with it. But I tried to knit it 3 times, and I just wasn't in the right headspace to do it. It's not complicated, but you need to concentrate. It's a cabled sweater. There's a lot of different cables. There's a lot going on. You have to, you can't really memorize the stitch pattern. Maybe when you get towards the end, you probably sort of learn to see where you were in the pattern, but I never got that far. So I had ripped that back 3 times, and then I couldn't bring myself to try it again, but I was desperate to use this yarn. I was nearly out of yarn anyway, and this was sitting in my yarn stash, and I came across this. I can't remember how I found this pattern, but this is a free pattern by Drops. It's called a Thistle cardigan, and it's a lovely, like, I would call it a basket weave. Maybe it's a basket weave pattern. Surprisingly difficult. It's bottom up. You knit the bottom band at the same time, which I loved because there's nothing to pick up afterwards. I was a little bit concerned about the garter stitch bottom band and whether it would look a bit frumpy, because I really do love double knitted bottom band. But I thought, I haven't got any. It would be nice to have something a little bit different, and I do love it. Really do love it. Yes, bottom up. I think you're supposed to knit it in pieces, but I knitted it all in one to the armpits, then split for the front and the back. Then it looks like I've done a 3 needle. Yeah, I've done a 3 needle bind off to join the shoulders, and then I think the instructions actually say to knit the sleeves, cuff up, and then sew them on. I would normally never do that. I would always pick the stitches up from the armhole and then knit down. But because it was so hot, I thought it was better to be knitting one sleeve at a time rather than hold the whole jumper and get really hot. But what I did then, when I came back from Ireland, because this sleeve still had 1x1 ribbing on, and it's supposed to have 2x2, I thought that I had seen somewhere how you can fix that, because these are knitted starting from here, knitted up. And I thought, if I somehow manage to pick up the stitches from here and then knit down, all I need to unravel is the cuff, not the whole sleeve, and start again. I found a fantastic, absolutely brilliant tutorial on YouTube how to do exactly that. So I don't even know which sleeve it is that that I've fixed. I should be able to, because one of these is a cast off and one of them is a cast on edge. But I've done a long tail cast on and then just the cast off in pattern. They look very similar, so I can't tell which one's the fixed sleeve. And the cuffs are the same length as well, so I can't tell at all. I'll put a link on my Ravelry project page to that YouTube tutorial how to pick up stitches and knit in the opposite direction. Say if you need needs a bottom up jumper and it's too short or too long, how you can pick up the stitches and knit in the opposite direction at the bottom to add length or what have you. I probably wouldn't do that in the middle of stocking stitch. I will probably do it on the edge of ribbing. I don't know. If you pick up the stitches well and you twist it, because they might be leaning the wrong way or twisted, but if you all line them all up, I think you could do that in the middle of stocking stitch as well, thinking about it. But it was a very neat way of doing it. And I thought, what, all I've got to lose is an hour or so of time trying to fix it. And I thought, worst can happen is I'll have to pull the whole sleeve down anyway and start again. So I might as well try. And it was well worth trying. I learned a new technique there. So that was very good. And oh my goodness, this cardigan, it is just heavenly. I don't think I've ever had a cashmere jumper, but I can sort of imagine that it'll probably feel very similar. It sort of gives you this gentle warmth. It's not like wearing anything else I've ever worn. It seems to regulate your temperature completely differently. I am absolutely in love, and it is so soft. I haven't washed or blocked this yet. It is incredibly drapey, and the stitches look nice and tidy. But I thought might as well wear this, but it's been a little bit too hot to wear this. So I don't think I've worn this yet. I've tried it on. I've worn it around the house for an hour or so, but not like proper worn it. But lovely pattern. I would highly recommend it. I did make some alterations. Both for the cuffs and the hem is set to cast on X amount of stitches, knit your 2x2 ribbing, and then immediately after the ribbing to decrease down to a certain number. And I don't know why that was. I think they just wanted to give you really sumptuous ribbing that doesn't even open up, because this is now all opened up. But I don't know, I didn't want to do that. I didn't really see why I should decrease immediately after ribbing. I think it might flare too much, so I didn't do that. So that's the only change I made, but everything else I followed to the exactly to the pattern, including knitting the sleeves cuff up. And with regards to v-neck button bands, this was the first time I've ever knitted short rows in this corner, which I thought was excellent. Just do a couple of short rows in this corner, and then you sort of turn this corner really neatly. I've got a Corran cardigan, a green one, and it hasn't got any short rows in this corner, and it does flip a little round that top button. So I thought that was really clever little technique to just put a couple of short rows there. So that's something that I might... Oh no, you can't normally do that because you normally knit the button band in 90 degrees. Oh yeah, that's why I've never done it, because I've never knitted button band like this in garter stitch as you go. In the Winter's Beach Cardi, there is no button band. You just knit the double moss stitch as you go, and there's no buttons. So in a way that's sort of similar. There's no finishing off afterwards, but this is a proper button band that you do as you go. I would highly recommend this free pattern. Very nice pattern, and this yarn is something else, absolutely something else. The most expensive thing I've ever knitted, the most expensive thing I own, but I can feel the difference. I absolutely can feel the difference, because I think this was on my needles last time. I also love this. This is sock yarn, Rico sock yarn and sheepies mohair, but it's nothing like this one. There is like I don't know, £60 difference in these yarns. You can, as soon as you put it on, as soon as you hold it, you can tell the huge difference in yarn. But I won't be able, I knit so much. I knit all the time, and I love knitting, and I'm not particularly sensitive, so I can wear rougher yarns and cheaper yarns, and they're absolutely fine. But this was such a lovely treat. I'll always remember our trip to East Anglia Yarn Fest, and this colour cardigan is just gorgeous. There's so many different tones in it. Yeah, it's nice to have real treats. This does, funny to say that I haven't worn that one much. I don't know why I haven't worn that one. I think because it's so precious. I have worn this all the time. Every evening I've thrown this on, even in the daytime. I've worn this so much. This is my third Pan Cardigan by Sari Nordland. Pan as Peter Pan. I think she named it Pan Cardigan because her first one was same green as Peter Pan, if I remember right. I've knitted two of these before in Drops DK yarn. I've got like a lilac one and a minty green one, and I don't love those. I don't know why, but I don't love them. But this one, as soon as it was off the needles, I knew I was going to love it. This is knitted with Rico Suburba sock yarn. I bought it from Wool Shop in Market Race, and it was in a sale basket. It's tweedy yarn. It's four ply tweedy yarn. It's got like green and blue and red and yellow flecks in it, and then I held it together with sheepies mohair from my shop, and the shades of grey were very different. I knew I wanted to knit this cardigan with the sock yarn I bought from Market Raisin, but it was 4-ply, and I didn't have enough to hold it double. But in my shop there was a grey mohair sheepies rhythm. I think this colourway is called Robotic. I've knitted with it before, and it was so readily available for me in the shop that I thought I'm going to put them together. It was like a cold grey and a warm grey. I can't quite remember which one was which, but when he held the balls together near the window, they didn't look right together at all. But I thought I'm just going to give it a go anyway. But together they just look amazing. I love this cardigan so much. It is so easy to wear. Again, it's supposed to have pockets, but I don't know. I don't think I would ever put anything in that pocket, and they look a little bit frumpy to me. This is in half brioche or half fisherman's rib. I can't remember which one. They're very similar. They create a very similar stitch. I've been wearing this with a brown vest and really enjoyed it. It's just Again, I've got the shell buttons because I've got a lorry load of these now. It is really easy to wear. I have blocked this, but I don't think I put this. I did put this through the spin in the washing machine and it dried really quickly. Yeah, I remember now. I've learned that I can put things, even if I hand wash them, I can spin them if they don't have alpaca in it. If the yarn's got alpaca in it, it will felt. But if there's no alpaca in the yarn, it's generally okay to spin it. And then it dries so much quicker. And I feel that the spin just evens out all the stitches. Yeah, absolutely love this. Yes, half brioche, bottom up. The stitches, the neckline is, the bottom band is picked up afterwards. Sleeves are picked up and knitted down. I have worn this a lot. There's one little pill there that I don't think that's bad, considering the amount I've worn this. And I found it, obviously not with this top, but I found it really easy to wear with anything. I think because it's got the warm grey and the cold grey, it sort of goes with absolutely anything, and it's really easy to wear. And it's not precious. I put the sock yarn in the sale. The mohair, it wasn't the cheapest mohair, but it is not Surrey fluff either. So I'm finding it really easy to wear with denim skirts, jeans, shorts. I've got a pair of grey, cold grey coloured shorts. Yeah, wear it all the time. Yeah, it's easy to throw on. Yeah, this is. Well, I thought that this was my favourite knit this month. But then whilst we were in Ireland, my friend was knitting a Swoncho by Caitlin Hunter. I'm pretty sure it's by Caitlin Hunter. Swoncho has never been on my list of things to knit. I've never really... it's never appealed to me, but my friend was knitting this amazing Swoncho and I immediately wanted to copy exactly what she was doing. And I think I ordered the yarn. I don't know if we were still on holiday or whether I had come back or whether I had some of these yarns already. But this is my absolute favourite knit of the year so far. It's the Swoncho, and I did not think I had need for one in my wardrobe. I wish I had brought some hangers with me, but I didn't. It is so lovely. Oh my god, I loved knitting this so much. It's really heavy. It's in Drops Lima, which is a DK yarn, and then all the way through I added this Make It Tweed thread to make it look tweedy, because the Drops Lima I've got dark brown, light brown, off-white, and then like a green colour. They're all very, very flat colours. And this is very close to the original colours in the pattern. But I felt that it was a bit too flat, especially because my friend was knitting hers with scraps, all the leftovers, all the colours of the rainbow. Really, really, really so colourful. It was just absolutely brilliant. And I wanted to have a little bit of that. So I thought that the flex were just the best addition ever. I'll put it on because I haven't even got a hanger with me to show you. But it looks so good on. I love it. Let's see, hopefully I'm in the frame. I'm so gonna wear this camping this summer. Let me just get the sleeve sorted because there is more, there is a lot of body. But I love it so much, it's fabulous. I can't wait to wear it. It won't be too hot because there's a lot of air, but it is so cozy with these sleeves. Really, really cozy. I was going to show you the tweedy yarn. Yeah, this is my absolute favourite knit this year. It only comes in 2 sizes, and I knitted the size 1 because there's like huge amount of ease. This, anyone can fit in this. It's just how you want it to fit. And I've washed and blocked this, and the drape is lovely again. It was really hot. I think we had the heat wave when I had just finished this, and this dried like in a day. And Drops Lima has alpaca in it, so I wouldn't spin it. I would just towel dry it and then dry it flat outside. It dried in no time. There's a funny story about this Make It Tweed. Let me just see if I can get it out of this cupboard because I've wanted to try this for ages. I've dropped the key off where these were hanging from. I don't know where it went. I'll take these. Pop that down for a second, if it stays there. Yeah. I've seen lots of knitters talk about this Make It Tweed on YouTube before, but I've never seen it in stock at Wool Warehouse, so I've never been able to buy it. But we went to 2 wool shops in Ireland, near Dublin. I think they were both near Dublin. I just sat in the car and I was driven around, so I don't know where we were. And we had so much fun in the car that I wasn't even looking where we were going, to be honest. Anyway, we went to the first wool shop called Winnie's Wool Wagon. I've never been in a shop with all Drops yarn on display. It was so nice to see it all because Drops yarn I always buy online. I have been to a shop before where they had a few balls of Drops, but this Winnie's Wool Wagon or Winnie's Wool Cafe, I'm trying to remember what it was called now. They had every single colour of every single Drops yarn. They just had 1 ball of each colour in each yarn, and you could just see it all. It was wonderful. I didn't buy any Drops yarn from there because I thought we've only got hand luggage. It was wonderful to see, but I can get it from Wool Warehouse, so I didn't buy any. But they had this. I had never seen a ball of this in flesh. But I think they only had 3 balls, and I think I needed 3, but my friend got there first and she said I want 1, so there was only 2 left, and that 2 wasn't enough for me, so I said don't worry about it, I'll order it from Wool Warehouse, which I did for this jumper. But it's like thread. I wouldn't call it yarn. It's like really thick thread, 2 colours twisted into each other, and then the colours change, and then you get a tweedy bit there, and it just creates this beautiful, beautiful fabric. And when we were leaving Winnie's, my friend's car broke down. Can you imagine 3 knitters outside a wool shop, forced to sit there? We just had the best time. My friend whose car it was, something happened, the handbrake got stuck. It just wouldn't release, so we couldn't go anywhere. So we just had to sit in the car and knit and pop into the wool shop, get some more wool, get some more needles, get some stitch markers. We had such a laugh. we had a really good day. That was on the first day. We had just flown over, dropped our bags off, went straight to the wool shop as you do, and then broke down and happily knitted ever after in the car while waiting for recovery. But then that was on the Thursday. Then on Saturday we went into Dublin and we went to the wool shop in Dublin, which is called Knit This. This is Knit. Fabulous building. Oh my, I completely fell in love with the building it's in. It's like a smaller version of Selfridges. It's got that similar feeling, but with so much more character. When you walk into it, when you walk in, you go up these steps and then you walk through the entranceway is a plant shop and flower shop. It is just the most beautiful building. But anyway, the first thing we see in the shop is this Make It tweed, and I had never seen it knitted up. And there was one of Stephen West's hat patterns knitted with this, and oh my goodness, it looks so good. It looked like this. And I, for my own reference, for future reference, I took a picture of the hat, but it doesn't look anything like it does in flesh. So I don't know how this will look like on camera, but believe me, it looks fabulous in flesh. Anyway, after seeing this Make It tweed in Dublin, in This Is Knit, I couldn't even look at anything else. This was, if I remember right, this was €12.95. 2 days before we had been to Winnie's, it was €6.25. So it was more than double in This Is Knit. And when I saw the price of this there, I couldn't even look at any other yarn. I was so thrown. I felt that I was being ripped off. I felt that I was paying for the experience to go in the shop. For one, those yarn shops are only, I don't know, 20 miles apart, if that. I have no idea, because like I said, I was driven around. And there was such a huge price difference. I just, after that, I just didn't enjoy the experience at all. I nearly wanted to say, is that price correct? Has it been priced incorrectly? But anyway, we enjoyed looking at the yarn, but then couldn't really concentrate on anything else. And I'm pretty sure that when we got back to our holiday home, I went online just to double check, was it really $12.95? I had taken a picture of it on my phone, so I had the price, but it was €1 less on their website. So you pay €1 more in the shop, which I understand. I've got a shop myself. I know what the overheads are like, but charging double for a ball of yarn, it just seemed extortionate. But I got this from Wool Warehouse for around £6. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it really transformed, it really made this sweater. Drop sleeve mat, I believe I bought in the sale, or it's very affordable anyway. But I really feel that this Make It tweed made it. And I have got another 3 balls to do a similar thing with something else. But when I knitted this Swoncho, I had actually knitted it maybe 4, 5, 6 inches longer. And it just looked really frumpy. So I decided to unravel it, but I couldn't unravel it. I had casted it off, so I don't know whether it was just a cast off edge. But these tweedy bits and this thread, it really attaches itself so well. I ended up cutting it all off, and I could have used that wedge of yarn again. I just couldn't pull it apart. So there's a word of warning that it might be impossible to unravel. I didn't do it, and I don't think I had washed that. Just trying to think, did I block it? I don't think I'd even blocked it. I just decided it was too long. I've got a very short back anyway, and I do often find that my stitches are taller than they should be. If I look at the gauge for any pattern, my stitches are normally taller than they should be, so it already had enough length. I think I put some short rolls at the back on this one. They might have been in the pattern anyway. Let me just have a look. No, I'm telling porcupines there's no short rolls. Not at the bottom anyway. Maybe they were at the top. I can't quite remember now, but it's absolutely lovely. This is the best thing I've knitted this year. Very, very happy. And nice little story about copying my friends' colours, putting them into the tweed, the car breaking down outside the shop, seeing 2 balls of exactly the same yarn, one more than double the price. It was just, there's lots of memories, lots of happy memories. And my other friend had taken a pair of socks as holiday knitting. She was knitting this is a free pattern called By the Seine River. They're like fan and lace socks, so I immediately wanted to cast these ones on. I've knitted them with the leftover yarn from my Quill Tee, and I wanted a short pair for my Converse high tops, so that I can wear them inside those. I haven't blocked these yet. I've worn these once, maybe. It has been a little bit too warm to wear wool socks. Today will be fine, it's about 15 today. I only had a limited amount of yarn left. I've still got a little bit, so I just cast them off when I felt that they were the right length. But I started these toe up, did the fish lips kiss heel, and then I just did 3 rows of ribbing, I think, at the top, because I wanted the lace pattern to go all the way to the end, but I didn't want it to roll. So I thought if I do a couple of rows of ribbing, that should stay. But I did the extra stretchy bind off, and they flare a bit, so you can probably see me trying to stroke it straight. So what I might do is recast off, just pull this and cast off in pattern instead, because it feels like it's a bit too flary, because there's 72 stitch socks, so there's plenty of room there. I normally knit 60 stitch socks, so even if I cast them off in pattern, I should still be able to get my heel in. This is my preferred way of knitting socks: toe up, fish lips kiss heel, and then just knit as far as you want to, or have yarn in this case. But this isn't my favourite heel to wear. I prefer wearing a proper slip stitch heel. It fits my heel better, but it's very time consuming, I feel, and there's so much more counting to do than there is in this heel. And this still fits well, there's nothing wrong with the fit, but the other one just fits better. But I like knitting them toe up and then just knitting, then you're free to finish them whenever you're ready to finish them. Like these ones for my high top Converse. Yeah, these are knitted in Symphony Terra, I think the four ply is called. Really, really lovely. Really super soft merino. I don't know how they will wear, because normally softer the yarn, the weaker it is, but it has got nylon in it, so they should be okay. But I'm a little bit obsessed with lacy socks at the minute, and this is a lovely pattern to knit. I did again go wrong. It's there's sort of, you've got it's 76, you cast on 72 stitches, 36 stitches on each side, and then there's 4 sections of 9 stitches on at the front and at the back, and I just had to separate those with stitch markers. When I put stitch marker every 9 stitches, then I could keep within the pattern. But when I first knitted this, it went completely wrong. I just couldn't keep to the pattern. At one point I had double the amount of stitches I'm supposed to have, but when I put the stitch marker every 9 stitches, then I could keep to the pattern. I only had to fudge like a stitch or 2 here and there. I didn't get to double the amount of stitches. I'm just in the middle of casting on. I don't know where I put it. Anyway, I've only cast on 40 stitches anyway. Oh yeah, there they are. This is how I prefer knitting my socks. I split a hank into 2, and I knit one sock from one and the other one from the other, and I always pull from the middle, and I knit 2 socks at the time. Pull from the middle, have one ball on one side and the other one on the other side, and I keep turning my work so that the yarn doesn't get twisted, because if you just go round and round and round, it really gets twisted badly. So I've literally just started. I've cast on 40 stitches for the first sock, so it'll have 76, what did I say, 76, 72 for each sock, and then I start going round and round. But these ones I'm knitting cuff down, because I want to have my favourite heel to wear, which is the slip stitch heel. So I'm knitting these that way around. And I like to try to knit 1 pair of black socks every year. They're an absolute pain to knit because you can't see your stitches, but they're my most worn socks every year. I just seem to wear the black socks all the time. So we'll see how we get on. Days are already getting shorter now, so I probably left this a little bit late. But I have cast on 40 stitches out of 72 for the first sock, so they have been started. I had started running out of yarn, and it got really hot here, so I was just knitting up all my leftovers. I have got a hat somewhere as well. I don't know where the hat is. But at first I knitted these handwarmers with yarn that I bought in Ireland, Irish wool. These came about too big. They're huge. They are wearable, but I think they're more man's size. I don't know why they came so big. But they're still completely wearable. Lovely tweedy yarn, and I think I nearly used it all up, so it was a nice size pattern to use for these. But this is Aran weight yarn, and I still had yarn left from this sweater. Oh, I forgot to say, on this Swoncho, I've run out of both of the light brown, so the hem isn't to pattern. First I ran out of the dark brown. I replaced the dark brown with light brown, and then I ran out of the light brown, and I think I replaced that with white, and then but if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But I had a little bit of the off-white left and little bit of the make it tweed left, so I make these handwarmers using the same free pattern as I had used for the Irish tweedy yarn, but on these ones I just carried the cables all the way through, because you can't probably see them on these brown ones, but you only do the cables at the cuff here, and then you just do plain knitting, and then you do one more cable at the end. But on these ones I did the cables all the way through, and I literally had nothing left when I finished. Again, I knitted these two at the same time, and I just knitted them until I felt that I had just enough yarn left to do the thumbs, which I did. I probably had that much yarn left, which I love. I just love it when you use all your yarn up. And I don't know if I'll wear them with the Swoncho, but I think camping, I think they will look quite nice. And I have got a hat knitted in this green. I knitted it last year. I don't know if that would be a bit too matchy. If I wore a green hat that matches, and then hand warmers, and yeah, everything very matchy. But these hand warmers were nice knit. Free pattern that I'll link on my Ravelry, and then usable yarn. I haven't washed these yet. It looks like the drop sleemer does fluff out a bit when you compare the cuff that has been washed to the mittens that haven't, or hand warmers. But I think I'll get a lot of wear out of these. I've got a pair of hand warmers that I knitted quite a few years ago. I wear them every winter, but they don't have any thumbs. They've just got a slit for the thumb, and I'm never warm enough in them. I like hand warmers, but they just need a little thumb to keep my hands warm. So I knitted those, and then I've got a hat somewhere that I knitted with green yarn that I had left from my Corran short sleeve V-neck Corran cardigan, to use up that yarn. It is actually this green. It's the same beanie pattern that I always use. It's a cable pattern, but it was knitted in this green, and I still had this green left. And I saw that This Bird Knits had a pattern sale. I'm pretty sure I've test knit it for her before. That's why she's on my Instagram feed. And my daughter spotted this Dino jumper. I think this is called Dinos on Holiday. And she said, oh, I want one of those for Christmas. So I instantly started knitting it. She's so knit worthy. But now I don't. She's 10 this month. I don't know if this is a bit too childish, or whether I've done it in bit childish colours. I should have probably done it more adult colours. And I just start, as always, I didn't read the pattern. I just started knitting, and this is a pick and mix pattern. You start at the top. It tells you how many rows to knit, and then there's a sheet full of different patterns you can choose. And I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted to knit it exactly as the sample, but I don't think it says anywhere how the sample and which charts were followed to knit the sample. You sort of pick and mix. Anyway, I just carried on. I just started pick and mixing them, and I thought, oh, I'll just knit these dinos, and then I'll do the bottom of it all in one colour. Normally you just have the colour work on the yoke, but I've enjoyed this Swoncho so much. It's got the colour work all the way through, and I sort of wanted that for Ella's jumper as well. So this will now have just different charts all the way to the hem, and then I'll do the same charts on the sleeves. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about these dinos because they've got really long floats, and I have knitted a cardigan before that I couldn't get over my shoulders because my floats were too tight when they're this long. It's okay when your floats are 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, but there's some that are like super long, maybe 12, so you need to catch it in between, and then you need to make sure that there's enough give but not too much. But I think this looks and feels okay. I've tried it on and I could get it on, so I think it'll be okay. But yeah, I do wish I had used some more mature colours maybe. I don't know if this is a bit too babyish, but we'll see. I'm using Macintosh 4-ply, this sort of berry colour and the blue, and then the green is leftover Symphony yarns, and then the white is leftover 4-ply, speckled 4-ply. The pattern is sport weight, but I've mixed DK, 4-ply and 4-ply held together. This Macintosh 4-ply, it was someone's de-stash in my shop, so I bought two. There was just a hang off the berry colour and the blue colour, and that's quite plump 4-ply. To me it feels close to sport, so I just held that single. The green is double knitting, and then the white is 4-ply. The white is the only one I've held double. It was actually my plan to make it tweed all the way through this, but I think I forgot. I just got so into the pattern and the colour work that I completely forgot that I was going to put this in it. That would have probably worked really, really well. The berry colour and the blue, they already have tweedy bits in them. Maybe that's why I forgot, because I started with the berry colour and it already had the tweeds in. But I think this might have made it a little bit less contrast, more blended. But it's too late to do it now. I'm not going to pull it back. I've probably done half of the body there, so I've got the other half to do. I'll just pick a mix from the colour chart, what charts to carry on with. Maybe I'll do a blue, little bit of blue next. We'll see. And on this one, the short rows are underneath the Dinos. And now looking at it, I wish I had put half of them on top of the Dinos and the other half on the bottom. I think that will look more balanced, because now there's a big area of wedge here. And obviously there's no short rows at the front, so it looks very balanced at the front, but not so at the back. Or maybe I should have just not put the short rows there and put them on the ribbing at the bottom. But I think it'll be okay. When you're wearing it and it's shaped around your body, it's not so in your face. So I've got that on my needles. But I had already started this one. I've knitted this one before. This is another, I'm on a bit of a Caitlin Hunter kick now after doing the Swoncho. This is another Caitlin Hunter pattern. I have knitted this before, a couple of years ago now. And I think it might have even been in similar colours. But I never wore it. I can't quite remember why. I was quite a bit bigger then. I just don't, maybe didn't fit right. I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. But now I'm knitting it in, I've got lots of drops alpaca. So I'm knitting this in drops alpaca. And I'm enjoying knitting it. It's knitted on 4mm needle, so is it 3.5? Let's see if I can see the size. And it's 4-ply, 3.5. It is quite open gauge, but I knitted a Colourwork jumper with drops alpaca before, and I seem to remember that in the wash it fills all the gaps. it got close to sort of felting, because I think I put it in a spin in the washing machine, which I shouldn't have done. It didn't felt, but it sort of, I don't know what the word is. It didn't shrink, but the colours sort of felded into each other, which in this pattern I don't mind. But this is quite, my colourwork looks really uneven and lumpy. But I think it will block out absolutely fine. I haven't even steamed this or anything yet. I think this sleeve is knitted. I think I've done 6 inches on this sleeve, and I'm just about to start colour work, and then same on that sleeve. That's nearly 6 inches. I've just stopped the body there because I've only got ball and half of this purple yarn left. I have bought 4 balls of purple yarn in mind to knit a striped jumper, striped with these 2 colours. So I've got 4 beige colour and 4 of these, and I was planning to do a striped jumper with colour work on the yoke, like lots of different colours, not these colours, and I would have had enough yarn. But then I changed my mind, I wanted to knit this, so I'm running out of yarn basically. So I'm going to start the beige colour work on the sleeves, knit the sleeves, and then I will knit the body as far as I've got yarn for. It's nearly fine already as a cropped jumper, so if need be I can just start ribbing straight away there, or even pull back a few rows and start ribbing earlier if this isn't enough. But it goes a long way. There's 167 meters in the ball, and I think I've nearly got a ball and a half here out of 4, so I think it will go a long way. So that's on my needle: Dino jumper, Sipila jumper, and a pair of black socks just, and lots of new plans to knit. Cardigans, I'm really into cardigans, so maybe another couple of cardigans that will hopefully become my favourites as well, just like this has become my 3rd attempt on the Pan Cardigan, and I've got a favourite. The first 2 exactly the same pattern, different yarn. It was solid DK. These are fluff and 4-ply held together, so maybe that's what I'm into at the minute. But yeah, lots of knitting. Had a lovely holiday with my friends, knitting holiday, and just had the best time. But I will try and catch up with you sooner next time, so that I can go into more detail about all the knits before I forget all the detail. But until then, happy knitting. Bye.